bad.
Yeah, I just slide overweight.
On your way back, you actually get stopped by someone. You there, the strange-looking woman.
Iris looks confused and it's like pointing at herself.
Did you just come from the steel mill?
Well, an incident happened. I was just checking if I could discover anything. I don't know how much more detail I could go into.
Checking for what exactly? Are you a thief? Were you trying to steal something?
I'd be a very
Well, I
poor
guess you wouldn't
thief.
tell me if you were a thief, huh? Perhaps you should empty your pockets.
No.
I'm sorry, did I not ask... how do I put this? Did I not ask kindly enough? She snaps her fingers, you see magic begin to dance, and lightning begins to crackle on her fingertips as she points them towards you.
By the way, at this point she's gonna click her finger and point at her and go, "Are you that bothersome woman that was mentioned before?"
Excuse me?
Yeah, are you from the other sea state?
Gee, what gave it away? The fact that I'm a magician or something?
I've seen quite a few.
She suddenly lowers her hand. Wait. Oh god. Are you the person that came from the continent?
That is correct.
So wait, you're the diplomat they sent for... No offense, but she looks you up and down. You don't exactly strike me as a representative of anything, apart from maybe some back alley gang or something. I'll be going back to my inn. Have your officials contact me or something, I don't know. This is giving me a headache. She just waves her hand dismissively.
She nods. It was nice meeting you.
She does not reply to that and just simply walks off.
Okay.
Right. In the meantime, your lecture on basic physics, cognitics, motion, cybernetics, robotics, and other types of words that you have never heard about, Klein, has seemed to be finished. It's nightfall at this time, and she realizes that a lot of time has passed, and she actually gets mad at you for wasting her time when she should have been doing other stuff. Right. I can't believe you made me waste so much time on this. How dare you? I still haven't finished maintenance on Dixie, and you still haven't made me any dinner or prepared my bath. Get to work, you lazy slacker.
I just sort of shrug and go, just tell me if I'm walking in the wrong direction then.
She gets mad at you again and then actually takes you by the hand again and shows you where the kitchen and the bath is. You can't do anything right, you're worthless.
Wanting to do that all day, haven't you?
At any rate, the conditions have been met. However, to your surprise, your hard work is going to end up being wasted. She continues to work deep into the night, working on her machine non-stop, until you finally realize she's done because she's starting to crawl outside, and everything behind her is starting to close up like a very complex matrix. She plops down and the machine actually by itself reaches down with its arm and closes the hatch that she went inside of. And he starts to, quote-unquote, stretch his limbs, looking good as new. Audrey, on the other hand, looks completely exhausted and she is covered in machine oil and all sorts of other things. You see that she is pretty much dead on her feet. Rather than worrying about food or a bath, you see that she, on the spot, immediately crawls into a ball and is about to pass out sleeping. However, she seems restless. You see the machine suddenly reach out with one of its arms and puts one of its giant massive fingers right next to her. She immediately hugs the finger and quietly passes off and begins to sleep.
Oh, I was just gonna pick her up, put her in her bed, and then food next to it for when she wakes up.
As you do that, you see that the machine does no attempt to stop you. As you get a closer look at her, now that you have the chance to not get hit in the face with anger and malicious words, you notice a few things about her. Since you're a trained fighter and a very diligent one at that, you would know that people that work with their hands usually have a lot of calluses and deformalities, right? I mean, that's a given because that's basically a mark of hard work. You
Yeah.
see that despite her best appearances and all that, her hands are pretty mangled up as well. Though you doubt she's ever held a sword in her hands in her life, she seems to be a pretty hard worker herself in her own way. Her hands show definite signs of many calluses and a lot of hard work. And then you wonder, why are you looking at her hands, you pervert?
Too lewd for me, exposure. As I'm doing that, so the robot tends to react even when she's asleep.
He actually follows you with his gaze as you're taking her away to her room. And then as you're walking back, he just again quietly looks at you, without actually moving from his spot.
I try like waving a hand in front of face and seeing if it moves.
The robot cocks his head slightly to the side, looking almost confused, but then very gently raises one of his fingers and gives you a waving motion.
Wait. I want to sort of close my eyes and see if I can feel any sense of spiritual energy around it.
You feel nothing but cold emptiness. There is no spirit inside that machine. Somebody is trying to contact you. You can, of course, choose to brush it away if you wish to.
No, because in my mind, the only person that could be is Lucy. Lulu.
As you do that, expecting to hear the voice of your sister, you end up disappointed. While the message is garbled up and unnatural, you can at least get a feel for the person who's sending it if you have at least met them before. And indeed, you have met this person before, but it's not your sister. You receive a one-sided message from someone else. The message is very short and to the point. It gives you a location inside the city, the western end, an abandoned an abandoned orphanage. And she told you to come alone tonight.
Can I respond in any fashion, or is this more of a one-way thing?
No, this is a one-way thing. You cannot respond to the message.
Okay, fair enough. Carry on then.
So, what are you going to do, Klein? Are you going to ignore the invitation?
I can't ignore the invitation, but I will tell Lulu and Iris that I've got to do. I can't ignore this.
Gotcha. So, in order to do that, of course, you're gonna have to leave this mansion. And as you're trying to leave, you see that the machine brings his hand forward towards the exit to block off, well, you from leaving.
I just look at it and say, I know you can understand me. Yeah, I'll say. So I'll move it in and go, I know you can understand me. So I'm going to tell you now. I can't ignore this summons. Yomade herself has demanded this of me. Step aside.
The robot looks confused. You get a vague idea it's because its master told you that you'll be staying here taking care of some things for her. And since you're trying to leave, the machine is just trying to stop you. Yeah, the machine is starting to make low grumbling noises like it's displeased. You get the sense that this is its way of trying to warn you.
I'm going to leave now. I'll be back later. Stay here and look after your master.
As you say that you'll be back later, you notice that the machine cocks its head to the side and is quote-unquote giving what you said some thought. And then it slowly retracts its hand away to clear your path.
I'll just look at it and go, thank you, spirit. I'm going to feel like a dick if someone ever explains to me actual mechanics later.
I mean, she did try, but maybe you need
just
a few
as
more
a side
lessons.
thought. If I ever understand it later in the campaign, I'm going to feel like a right heretic. Yeah, I'll if I can, I'll let Iris and Lulu know that I'm heading off to do something demanded of me by Yomade herself.
Which you're probably lucky that Lulu's not here because there's no way she's gonna let you go alone.
No, absolutely not.
Right. Iris, since Klein is going to tell you this, what are you going to do about it? Is there anything you wish to share on this matter?
Oh, just to clarify, by the way, I don't tell you what I'm gonna do. I just tell you there's something I must do sent by Ayomide herself, and that if I, if I don't return by morning, western districts of the city.
Well, since Iris is not here apparently, let's get to that part. You follow the general vague direction that you were given towards your destination. Eventually, you manage to find the abandoned orphanage. It's actually much bigger than you thought. The building seems to be comprised of multiple stories, and it's in a square shape, with the middle part being a closed-off garden with a small fountain. The area seems to be pretty well illuminated from the moonlight, and sitting near the fountain on its edge is the person that summoned you. Considering you're still inside the building and cloaked in darkness, she has not noticed you. However, she is exposed in the middle of the small garden next to the fountain, illuminated by moonlight, so you can see her just fine.
Oh, well, good thing I'm not Alyssia then. Otherwise, she's getting sniped right now. No, I take 3 full steps out into the courtyard so that the moonlight catches off my armor. And I also let the, because I remember when Lucy showed up, she brought the family banner with her, right?
Yep.
I let it unfurl from the halberd tip to, declare who I am as loudly as physically possible.
She finally notices you, looks in your direction, and stands up in front of you. Excuse me. And as she does so, she finally speaks. I'd say I'm surprised you came, but that would be a lie.
I'm surprised you're still here. I didn't think you wanted to receive justice so soon.
Justice, is that what you call this?
Ayomide guides my hand. No, you can't win. But you might regain some of your honor in a noble death.
You know, after we first met in the square, I had some people look you up, Sir Horatius Klein, and about your family. I am surprised. For somebody who is so set in his ways, you sure are a long way from home.
The hands of the Lord work in mysterious ways.
They do indeed.
I suppose you'd like to justify what you've done, what you did before we start this?
I stopped justifying my actions 10 years ago. I have nobody to justify my actions to anymore.
Either way, I'll give you 10 seconds to say any prayers. Then we begin. May the Lord judge the victor. With that, I get into a ready stance and mutter a quick prayer to Ayomide myself, because I remain utterly convinced this is why I have the mark on me.
You see that she is not wary of you at all. She does not even reach for her weapon.
Oh yeah, no. On a player level, I'm pretty sure this is a massive trap. She's beyond honor.
Just saying. That's what you see from her.
Yeah, but on a character level, I actually value chivalry. We all know is mostly just the combat. Okay, if she doesn't react, say anything or do anything after the 10 seconds has passed, I'm gonna sort of make steps towards her. Until we're a good maybe 20 feet apart, and then I'll consider that when the duel has actually started.
What's your passive perception?
Passive perception is 10. I don't have any perception trained, and I have a wisdom bonus of 1. Oh, it should be 11, but that doesn't help.
I'm glad that you have so much faith in your passive perception.
Oh, that's okay, mate. I knew how this would end. I just couldn't act a different way in character.
Gotcha. That's fair. As you begin stepping forward, you immediately realize something's wrong. She's not reacting at all. I mean, come on. That's not normal at all. But you are an Ovian. You are a man of honor. So you know what must be done. What she does not matter. So you confidently step forward. And then you are blinded by a bright light around you. You are so blinded, in fact, that you have to cover your eyes for a moment. And then, when you finally are able to see, you stand there a good 20 or 30 feet away from her, completely surrounded by what you vaguely recognize of Guardians of Faith. Again, this is something you would know about because it's something very commonly used by clerics and paladins on the front line. These are basically beings made out of light and blessed energy that hold a shield and a sword. And they are not very mobile, but they're good at holding a position. So they're usually used when people are trying to retreat to hold off the enemy, or when they're trying to funnel the enemy into specific areas. These things basically only react on motion of enemies around them. They're not sentient. You see that there are 6 or 7 Guardians of Light around you, and if you make a slight move, they'll all just turn you into minced meat.
I just let out like a sigh. I just go, I'd hoped you'd be better than this, even for a traitorous whoreson.
As you say that, she starts stepping towards you. Your insults ring hollow. But there is no need for bloodshed. We can still end this peacefully.
You know a warrior of Yomade can never surrender willingly.
You'd be
so
surprised.
What are you thinking of?
By the way, since this is happening at this point, you've noticed on the upper floors around the balconies, that's where the clerics are. The Guardians of Light that they've manifested require concentration, so you see them now that they're exposed, they're chanting up above. You see that there are a few other people there as well that are not chanting. They're basically holding Ovian crossbows, and they're all trained on you as well. As she steps forward, she takes a small pouch with some kind of ingredients, and she begins preparing a cleric spell in front of you.
Can I work out what it is?
You're gonna have to give me a roll for that one.
Sure. Do you want religion or arcana? Both would apply.
Let's go with religion, considering the situation.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, you know what? Fuck it, I'll allow it. Because Lul's your sister, I'm gonna give you a small bonus, so that's gonna be just barely enough. I mean, considering your sister is a cleric, I'm assuming that, you know, she probably showed you a few things.
Yeah, serve on the front lines for any meaningful length of time, and you'll see a bunch of stuff like that.
This is actually a bit different because it's not something you would usually see on the front lines, but thanks to Lulu, you've probably got some basic idea of it. The materials she's using are very rare and expensive, so there's not really many spells she can do with that. So you manage to quickly get a quick idea of what she's doing. She is basically preparing a high-level... excuse me. She's basically preparing a high-level spell called Gears, which basically places a magical command on a creature to follow orders.
God damn it. Right. How many clerics were there? At the 5?
From what you can see, there are 6 clerics currently chanting, so because there are 6 guardians of light surrounding you. Plus, you see that there's quite a few other people holding Ovian crossbows trained on you on the 2nd floor.
Okay, so Expertia, I'm gonna outline the thing the fight or flight part of my brain has kicked in for. So I'm being surrounded by those spirit guardians, right?
Yep.
Luckily for me, I'm literally festooned with weapons. What I plan to do is, since the halberd is already held upright, to push it down to plant it, draw the short sword I keep on my right hip, and a dagger in the other hand. I want to hurl that dagger at one of the clerics so that he loses concentration, which will then give me a clear shot to hurl the short sword at her to interrupt her. I just want to knock the ingredients out of her hands if possible and destroy them if optimal.
Keep in mind,
then
if
realize
you
I
try to do
will
any
get
of that,
absolutely shish kebabbed by stuff, but
yeah, I was gonna say, if you try to do anything, the Guardians of Light will trigger automatically, and the people who have crossbows trained on you will probably immediately fire.
yeah, I'm fully aware that this is a losing fight, but it's more once I see the gears, I can either submit to it or I can fight against it. So that's the only thing I could think of as a last
Keep in
plan
mind, you will get a saving throw to resist the gears, and considering it's a pretty high level and expensive thing to do, you are confident that she cannot probably spam that shit. Keep in mind that since you figured out what she is doing, you will get advantage, by the way.
Okay, actually here, what we'll do is Expertia.
Yes.
On a high, I will do my plan because high rhymes with die. And on a low, I will see if I can basically, willpower my way through it.
Sounds about fair, but you know what I always say, man, always high.
I rolled a 1, I'm going to go with you. But I have that running through my head as a backup idea, so you're not suddenly surprised when I do it.
Gotcha.
Also, as she's walking up, I want to just announce in a loud voice, more for the benefit of the spectators than for her. You know, it's not too late to just leave.
They do not hesitate or even flinch. They've made their decision.
I mean, once the demons are dealt with here, I promise you, I make an oath in front of Yomade, I will hunt down and kill every man here.
They do not flinch.
Very well.
Let's see the roll, Adam. Let's see what fate has decided for you.
Okay. So what save is it? Strength, Dex, Con, Intelligence, Wisdom,
Oh wait,
or Charisma?
is that what we're going on? Okay, so the save to resist the gears is a wisdom based. Actually, wait, let me double check that just to be sure.
I'm hoping it's. I was about to say I'm hoping Strength won't be because that's when I have a good bonus in.
Yep, sadly for you, it's a wisdom save to resist the gears.
Ah, I have a whole +1 in Wisdom. What's the DC?
Rowan, let's find out.
I wanted to know like if what my odds of fucking up are before.
The roll you need to beat is a 17.
Okay, I have 1/4 chance. I've got a 1/3 chance of succeeding. Click.
Gee, it's almost like you probably shouldn't have wasted your chance to succeed on cooking.
You know what, Expertia?
Yes.
As a person, I knew what you were gonna do. I knew this wouldn't be the simple thing, but as a character. I've been making a lot of character decisions today that are gonna fuck me.
So sadly, even with advantage, you fall under the effect of the gears. She puts her hand on your forehead and draws some kind of religious symbol. The next moment, your mind gets all blurry and your vision gets hazy. All you can hear is the sound of her voice. And this is what she tells you. I will prepare a
whisper
ship
it,
for
or
you.
do you wanna say it out loud?
Oh, I'll say it out loud.
Okay, I wasn't sure if this was one of those ones that's like a bit more
No,
of a...
it's fine. It's fine. She tells you, I will prepare a ship for you tomorrow. I will make sure that it slips past the blockade and heads back to the continent. You need to be on that ship along with your sister. As for your friends, take them if you wish. It does not matter as long as you and your sister are out of the Western Isles. Do not forget, the ship will be waiting on the eastern coast. It's going to be black and red without a flag. That's your escape. It's only going to be there tomorrow.
Why are you doing this?
Because that's the only way to save you. And as she says that, she turns around and starts walking away. Is there anything else you wish to say as she's leaving?
No, I'm more trying to mentally process the two different revelations in his mind, so he wouldn't really have reacted in time to say any parting words.
She slowly disappears into the shadows, and as she does, you see that the people in the upper floors are starting to leave as well. Shortly after, the Guardians of Light are dispelled, and you're the only one left in the orphanage, covered in darkness and in silence, with the gears placed on you. Right, now would probably a good time to tell you how that works, in case you don't know.
Oh, I had it cast on me as Talos in the first campaign. The
Gotcha.
only thing I'm curious about is what level Gears it was.
Level 5.
Okay, so... yeah, okay. So, like, not a forever Gears, just enough to really enforce her demand.
To be fair, level 6 magic is the highest that humans can cast, and that takes a lot of preparation and a lot of hard work. So the fact that she casted a level 5 spell is a pretty big deal. I mean, your sister Lulu is one of the best humans around, and she can do that, so, you know, it's a big deal to have a level 5 spell placed on you.
Plus, it also tells me that she is cleric.
If you know a little bit about her family, you'd know that they're actually commanding officers, so they are actually knights. They worked with the Court of Swords. It seems that she has picked up a few extra tricks that are not common to knights.
That's not even not common to knights. That's not common to like clerics. That's like top 5 percentile shit.
Yep.
She is an incredibly talented mage. And what's more troubling specifically to Klein is the fact that she is able to cast clerical magic.
Yep. She is casting with the blessing of the gods.
Well, one of them.
Yep. The one that you are big on.
Yo, you no, don't you fucking clearly not on day, alright? One of the other ones.
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
Ah, mate, it's fucking Zabadar.
Yeah, he's an asshole, isn't he?
I mean, he's worshipped by lawyers.
Apart from that nagging sensation in your head that you and everybody you care for needs to get the fuck out of the Western Isles tomorrow by ship, everything else is fine. You're okay. Dude, are you seeing this?
Come on, T-Rex! Fuck you, bitch!
Get on the building, collateral damage!
Fuck collateral damage, I'm an giant-ass robot!